I bet you didn't realize after you've washed your vehicle that drying your vehicle is just as important as a safe process for washing your car. Now there's many different tools and techniques and processes that you can do to dry your car, but we're going to talk today a little bit about what the best way possible to dry off your car in a safe manner without adding scratches and swirl marks to your paint is, and really figure out what's good and what's bad. Welcome back to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Let's jump into it. As I said, drying your vehicle is just as important as a proper washing technique and method. Now, when we're drying a vehicle, we want to use lubrication to our advantage. And what is that lubrication sitting on your vehicle? Well, of course, it is the water on there. There's tons of different techniques that people use. This car, before anybody freaks out, we're not going to water spot this. We have a CR spotless system here at the shop, so I could essentially let this completely air dry. Now, my personal opinion, I wouldn't recommend doing that really in any circumstance, but for this video, it's okay to let it sit on here for a little while before we go in and actually dry the car. Now, you see all different types of drying techniques out there. You'll drive down your neighborhood and you'll see somebody washing their car outside and all of a sudden the beach towels comes out. And that's when I'm like, yikes, please don't do that type of stuff. So, it's really, really important on vehicles if you care about them, if you care about scratches. Let's say you got your car paint corrected and ceramic coated. Like, you want to maintain it. You paid thousands of dollars to get the paint looking absolutely perfect, and you need to have a method that goes with that as well. Because if you're gonna do that, may as well just take your car through a brush car wash if you're just gonna dry it with a beach towel or whatever it may be. Now, I've also seen lots of folks using huge air drying canisters, essentially like an Ego leaf blower or something like that. My opinion on those is they're not the greatest way to do it. The rationale behind that is essentially you have no filter in it. So there are some products that I'm going to talk about today that do have heated and filtered air blowing through them in a condensed nozzle. Now, I will say using some sort of method to blow the water off the car is typically only associated with cars that have been ceramic coated. If you haven't and you have basically sheeting on there where the water is just sticking on there, not beating up like this, you're gonna have a heck of a hard time using something like a Blo Car Dryer or something like an Ego air dryer. Now, again, I personally would not recommend using a leaf blower on your car. The rationale behind that is the filters. Okay, maybe thinking you're going a little crazy. Let's just imagine you're picking up a bunch of dirt and debris. Where is that going? You're now sandblasting your vehicle. I really, really don't like that. Buy a tool dedicated for what it's meant to do. A leaf blower is meant to do what? Blow leaves. A Blo Car Dryer or something similar is meant to dry your car. Now, lastly, one of the methods that I really prefer is using a nice, very, very high quality microfiber towel. Now, there's a few reasons behind this. For one, something like the Blo Car Dryer that we'll talk about, while it is very, very effective on something like a ceramic coated vehicle, traditionally, when you're using this, you're blowing so much water out of the car that by the time you get this side completely dry and you're working your way around the car, that side is starting to water spot and not look very good. We want to avoid water spots at all costs here. Now, a lot of folks don't have a climate controlled shop like I do. You may be washing your car outside. Of course, recommendations to do so. You're not washing in the sun and you're trying not to wash while it's windy. While it's windy, you have dust in the air flying everywhere. Not ideal solution. So my absolute preferred method is to, number one, get a high quality microfiber drying towel. This is called the Liquidator from the Rag Company. Now, realistically, on a car like this Model 3 Performance next to me here, you would want to use 2 of these. So what we're going to do is use a drying aid with it, essentially add even more lubrication to the paint, and it helps absorb the water into the actual towel. And then we're going to go back over with a Blo Car Dryer and get stuff out of all of the nooks and crannies. I'm sure you've all seen that when you wash a car or you'll see a car driving down the road. It's nice and shiny, looks really good. They just washed it. And then you see the drips down the sides and out of the vents and out of the door handles everywhere. This towel cannot do that. So using them in conjunction is extremely, extremely important. So let me show you my method and process I use for drying off your vehicle to make your washing process and drying process safe and effective. So first off here, we of course have our large drying towel. We also have our drying aid. Now this says matte detailer on it. What is actually in here is Adams Polish's waterless wash. Phenomenal product for doing this. So what you're essentially going to do, mist this down here. You'll see the water start to run off immediately. And a lot of folks, you'll see detailers do this. They'll basically take the towel. I really struggle with this and pull it on 2 sides because I'm one-handed here and dry it off. You're not adding any pressure to this. Your car should be clean when you're drying it. If you're not hand washing your car, do not use a towel. That is when you can get scratches. We're not trying to pick up dirt here. We're just trying to get the water off the surface of the vehicle. So my preferred method is this. I take this particular towel and fold it into 8 sides. So that's going to give us 8 fresh sides to dry the car off with. Just in case we miss something during the wash, again, you shouldn't be, but just in case. So I'm going to spray this down here. Again, I'm putting no pressure on this. I'm basically holding it onto the panel. You're going to see this pick up all of that water effortlessly. Now, when you get to the point where this side is completely saturated, which it's not yet, you'll be shocked how much water these actually hold. Then you want to flip over to a fresh side. Then you flip to the inside. Then you flip the towel completely around. Typically, I do the paint first, leave the glass till absolutely last. So I'm just going to go here on the fender as well. Dry this off. May as well flip here. Can hit the entire front bumper at one time. Again, not putting enough pressure just so it doesn't fall off the panel of the vehicle. Try and pick up as much water as you possibly can as well. And we're going to continue moving down the side. Now, the absolute safest ways to use this technique is to use one side of the towel per panel. So you're going to get 8 sides per drying towel. Realistically, you need 2 of these and you're good to go. So again, just spray this down. I always like to go top to bottom, just like washing. Your most contamination is going to be at the bottom. Lightly dry this. So now, in the safest way possible, I've used up all 8 sides on this towel. I'd want to grab a fresh one for these. Now what you can do if this is still picking up water is just hit the glass up here. Glass is not going to scratch easy. You can just toss this up here, let it do its drying magic. It is truly unbelievable how much water this towel picks up. So here I've grabbed my second drying towel. And then we'll flip, and this is our last panel. Very, very simple to do. And again, we still have tons of sides on this to be able to dry any other residual stuff on here. Now comes the important part though, is how the heck do we get everything out of all of the nooks and crannies? Let me tell you about the Blo Car Dryer. Well, the car does look like it's completely dry, but you would be absolutely wrong. In every single nook and cranny here, in every area of here, is pools and pools of water. So down here in this rear seal, you can see all the water sitting there now dripping down. If you take this and go drive down the road, all that dirt is going to be attracted to that. Now you're going to have these dirty stains all over your fresh, clean car. Areas like the door handles here, you can see all of the water still sitting in there. You can see already starting to drip from the mirror. And of course, areas like our wheels, you don't want to be using that drying towel on your wheels, so you can use something like this. Now this is an expensive tool, but I will tell you this tool is incredible. There's a few reasons behind that. So again, I see a lot of people use like an Ego, leaf blower, or even compressed air. Now, compressed air, I would say, is a little bit better than using something like an Ego, but I personally prefer to use one of these. Now again, filter is on top of here. Let me pop this up and show you. Look at all that crap sitting in there. All of that would be just blowing on your paint if you're not using one that has a filter. Now this is, I believe, about a $400 unit here. And that may shock you, but they do make cheaper versions of this. This is really the pro level one, like you would use here in a professional detailing setting. Has a long hose on it, and it has the most power possible. Actually, one of my favorites from Blo is their cheapest version. I think it's $100. It is a handheld one. Actually, let me pull it out over here. This bad boy. This thing is awesome. Still has a filter on it. It's also heated. It's just not quite as powerful as this guy, but you can 100% use this on the entire car. I would not really recommend drying your car with the Blo Car Dryer. Instead, use the towel and this, but you definitely could use this to dry the entire car, if that makes sense. This one's just not quite as powerful. But this tool is truly incredible for getting water out of every single little area. Just look, for example, here, this cowl covered in water. No possible way we can get that out. Now, what I like to use in conjunction with the Blo Car Dryer is another towel. Now, you can use the other liquidator towel from Rag Company that I was recommending, or you can get one of these. This is another version of their drying towels from the Rag Company. And I personally like this a little bit more to get in the tinier areas if I need to kind of hit something real quick. But essentially what we're gonna go do is work our way around the car, blow water out of these particular areas like headlights, fog lights, wheels. And if any gets kind of spread out, we can just quickly, boom, hit it, wipe it, and get it dry instead of trying to kind of chase ourselves around. So let's get the Blo Car Dryer on and get this thing actually dry. So spend a ton of time just getting all of the water out of all the nooks and crannies. It's insane. It literally takes longer for those little areas around the car than it does to just towel dry the entire vehicle. So you may be thinking we're done, but I promise, wait, there's more. So one of the last areas let's talk about here is this, in our door jambs. All down here full of water. Now, you could come in here and use your Blo Car Dryer, but what I prefer to actually do is, again, grab our drying aid, Adam's waterless wash, different bottle, and come in here, spray down a nice premium microfiber in here, mist it in there, and just come in and start drying it. These areas are often missed and often very dirty. If you maintain them just like this, quick dry like that, and it's pretty much good to go. You want to spend some time getting all in the little nooks and crannies and the jams here. Not going to get it 100% dry. If you do wish to do so, come in here with the Blo Car Dryer afterwards and you're completely done. But look at all the grime I just found in there. So make sure you take your towel, fold it into quarters here, and then continually flip. So I typically do one door jamb with one side, flip it over, do the next one, and continue from there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you found some insight on the proper way to dry your vehicle. Now, a few things I know some folks are gonna have questions on, such as, do I recommend using a drying aid with any sort of protection like a ceramic drying aid or something similar to that? And I don't. The reason being is all we're trying to do is add lubrication here. We shouldn't be trying to add any sort of protection on there. Use another product like something like Geon Wet Co or something similar to use as a coating topper. This is the time we want the most amount of lubrication and not adding protection. The other issue comes with if you are using a ceramic infused drying aid, all of that ceramic infused drying aid is going into your towel, which is hydrophobic, which makes your towel not pick up water. So you can see over time, especially, your towel may be completely less effective and may not even pick up water on the hood, let alone an entire vehicle. So everything I use today will be in the link in the description below on an Amazon store. You guys can go pick up all of this stuff. Highly recommend picking up a Blo Car Dryer. Believe me, I know they are pricey. If money's an issue for you, pick up the $99 one. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you want to have the ultimate setup like I have here at the shop, pick up the big boy and make sure you get some high quality drying towels. Again, I really prefer the ones from the Rag Company. They make some of the top of the line microfibers out there to make sure you're drying safely. Thanks so much for joining us on another out of spec detailing video. We'll see you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.